Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Dr. Richard D. Myles Sr., CEO, Chairman, and founder of the Minor Football League. The day is Friday. We're over hump day and everything. I'm excited about this week because, you know, we're getting ready for our combine for the 2021 season. We're excited about that. Also, the GMs are all pumped up and getting ready. Also in Africa, we got to do a little more work there because of COVID-19. You know, we have a little bit delay over there because we have to travel there. But also, I'm just excited about that. Anybody interested in finding out about the MFL, our website is mflishere.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We want young men to understand this is the MFL, the laboratory of change. I got my guests on today. How are you doing there today, sir?
Appointment I've been driving to in Abilene, but hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
Absolutely. We can hear you loud and clear.
Well, I'm excited to be part of the MFL, and I look forward to working in Houston.
Absolutely. And as you know, Texas is so big out there. When we did our feasibility study, you know, we put we put the Cardinals out of East Texas first, and we got all kinds of, calls and everything. He said, hey, Houston is Dr. Myles, how can you pass Houston up? Everybody keep passing Houston up. So jokingly, I said, well, Houston won all the NBA championships, but seriousness, we said, okay, so then we put the Steelers there. Also, then people start talking about Houston. Houston's a booming town. So then we said, okay, and as you know, we moved it and put the Rams there. So we're excited about that. So that way the division would be close because we always look at playing geographically, and we put we moved the Cowboys we moved them from Oklahoma. No, we moved them. I'm sorry. We put the Cowboys in Oklahoma, and then we also brought the Packers from up in Denver, up in Colorado. We put the Packers down in Louisiana, so that gives us a division that's close together. You know what I mean, Coach? So these are some of the things that we did that we also excited about. So what's the census? And I know this is kind of, you're a man, you coached the Division I ball. I want you to tell MFL Nation a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 68. I've been coaching for over 40 years.
Hey, you're telling our age there, Coach. You're telling our age.
Hey, I'm proud of it. I wear it as a badge of honor. And anybody can hang in this business for that long. There's something to be said for them. And just like yourself, Doc. Although you're younger than me.
I'm chasing.
But I started out coaching in high schools in Texas. Graduated to college ranks at West Texas State, and then offensive coordinator at UTEP, and then went back to high schools in Texas as a head coach and athletic director at one of the big Friday Night Lights kind of schools in Central Texas, Coppers Cove. That's the high school where RG3's from. They've had they put a lot of guys in the NFL. I think they got 11 guys in the NFL right now. But it was a great learning experience for me because I had to run the whole show. And I also came up with this offense that everybody now calls air raid. And from there, a friend of mine who worked for the Bears, Steve Kazar, who's the chief scout for the LA Rams right now, he called me up and he said, "Would you like to do this in college as a head coach?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I sure would. I've been thinking about it." And he said, "Well, there's this place called Iowa Wesleyan College. It's in Mount Pleasant, Iowa." And I said, well, what are they like? He goes, "Well, they're an NAIA school and they haven't won a game in 2 years." I said, "Well, how bad are they?" And he said, "They're the worst football team I've ever seen." So I took the job anyway, and took a big cut in pay in order to do it. But we went over there. I hired Mike Leach, who's now the head coach at Mississippi State, as my offensive line coach, and then he and I began a collaboration that lasted for 10 years. And we really, in 1991, we had gotten so good so fast that none of the little liberal arts colleges in the Midwest would play us. We had to start playing people like Portland State and Northeast Missouri and a lot of the D2 and FCS schools now. Well, we looked at our schedule, we looked at our team, we had everybody back, and I told Mike, I said, we might have the best team we've ever had here and win 2 games because the schedule's just so tough. We have a little bitty school of 600-700 students, and we're taking on all these big state universities. So I said, we need an edge. And I said, let's go on a road trip. So I said, find us somebody in Florida to recruit. So Mike Leach, being Mike Leach, finds a kicker in Key West. So I went to the president and I said, we need to go recruit this kicker in Key West. Can I get a couple of airline tickets? And he said, yes. But when he did the budget, he could only figure out enough to fly us to Orlando, which still leaves us about 9 hours short.
Wow.
And so we're flying into Orlando, and Mike looks at me and goes, they're having a spring league, and I got a friend that coaches at Orlando. You want to go by there before we start our trip? I go, yeah, let's go watch him practice. Well, the great Don Matthews was the head coach there. Don went on to win 6 Grey Cups in Canada, but he was very cordial to us. We went and hung out with him all day, watched him practice. And on the way out to practice, I looked at him. I said, Coach Matthews, what's the best drill you have? And he said, watch bandit drill at the end of practice. And I said, what's that? And he goes, that's where we practice our 2-minute offense. Okay. And Mike and I are there. We get to the end of practice. They start bandit drill, and we're watching this. Now, I'd seen 2-minute offenses before, but I'd never seen one so efficiently run and well coached and well orchestrated, so that it was just like a game. Everybody, the defense was on one side and the sideline, the offense was on the other, and they were subbing and they were spotting the ball down before the previous play was even over with. Mm-hmm. And I looked at Mike and I said, that's the edge we're looking for. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, we're going to do that. We're not going to do it for 2 minutes. We're going to do it all the time. And so in 1991, we had what most people know as air raid now, is where, you throw the ball a lot of times and you play fast and have big line splits. That was the first time that had happened. And we took it back to Iowa Wesleyan. We put it in, and we played a team, a division above us, the first game of the season, and they were ranked 10th in the nation. We were unranked in the NAIA, and we upset them. We came from behind and upset them 34-31 in front of the home crowd. Wow. Went on to win 10 games, and it's still the only time in history that little school has ever made the playoffs. So that got the attention of the AD at Valdosta State in Georgia, who was D2, and they had never been to the playoffs, and they had never won a conference championship. So he hired us, and we went down there. Mm-hmm. We had some great guys on the staff. We had Dana Holgerson, who's now the head coach at Houston, Guy Morris, who was eventually replaced me at Kentucky and became the head coach at Baylor. Of course, Mike Leach, who's now there. We had a lot of guys come through there in 5 years. We won 2 conference championships, and we played for the national championship twice. And then the great C.M. Newton, the athletic director at Kentucky, decided to hire a new coach. He let Bill Curry go, and he was looking for somebody. And he settled on me and gave me, I became one of the few guys to ever go from Division II to the SEC. In fact, I might be the only guy to ever do that. And we go to Kentucky, and everybody's second guessing what we're doing. This won't work in the SEC, right? You can't have big line splits and play that fast and all that. So the first year I was there, we beat Alabama for the first time in 75 years. We had a lot of excitement. We ended up 5-6. We had Tim Couch as our quarterback, and going into the next year, we went to the first New Year's Day Bowl at Kentucky since Bear Bryant was the coach. And Tim Couch was a finalist for the Heisman, and then became the first player picked in the 1999 draft. So I stayed there 2 more years, and then we got in a little trouble with the NCAA, and I got forced to resign. They made Guy Morris the head coach, which was good. But I didn't do anything wrong, but I was the head guy, and I had to take responsibility for it. And they paid me off, so I sat out of coaching for a year. And then I wanted to do something to give back to the game. And the president from Southeast Louisiana called me and said, we want to start football. And so I went down to Hammond, Louisiana, which is in Southeastern, the FCS school. And we started football there, stayed there 3 years. Then I got recruited to go out to New Mexico State, and I stayed out there 4 years and didn't have as much success there. So they let us go after 4 years. But I took the job at another place that hadn't won a game in 2 years, little tiny McMurray University in Abilene, Texas. And we went to Abilene and got them in a bowl game and got them in the playoffs, and had really the best 4-year run anybody's ever had at that school.
Wow.
And we the reason David Glasgow likes me so much is because his son played against us when they were at UTSA and I was at McMurray. We're the only Division III school to ever beat a FBS school.
Wow.
And we went to the Alamo Dome and beat UTSA. So that's kind of after that I went to SMU for a year, and then I went to Jackson, Mississippi, and I coached at Belhaven. I coached at Jackson State, and then I got into pro football, first with the AAF for a short period of time, and then with the XFL.
Wow.
And that's where I was about this time last year when the virus hit and they folded out the XFL.
Well, you they may want to call you the fixer because you go to these programs and put them together, Coach. But I also ask you, now that
that's kind of what I'm known for. And
right,
as a head coach, I'm 5 out of 7, so that's not too bad.
Wow, that's good, excellent. But we want to ask you, MFL Nation, also we want to ask this now. After and welcome aboard. Matter of fact, congratulations. But I want to also say, you done taught a lot of coaches. A lot of coaches came to. What does the MFL mean? We've been the laboratory of change, and we want to bring former players from the field to the front office. But what does this mean for somebody like you, and being the teacher that you are and been for a long time? It opened a network for these young men to get coaching jobs, GM jobs. What does this mean to be, now that you're involved with the MFL, what did the MFL you feel mean to these young men, especially given and I don't call it a second chance because, a lot of guys come out of college and I tell them it's not that you're not good enough to play in the NFL, it's not enough room. So what does this mean not only to you and for some of the guys that you've seen come up through the ranks that didn't get an opportunity to go from college to go from high school to college, even though they had the credentials to do it, but because, it's always that ceiling there. But what does the MFL mean to you and to people that you talk to about it?
Well, I first of all, I'm honored to be part of it because there's some great people in the MFL. And not only as coaches and GMs, but also just as great mentors to young men and everybody. I first became aware of it through the head coach at San Antonio, Jimmy Gonzalez. And then Jimmy got me in touch with David Glasgow, and I realized we had this connection because his son had played at UTSA. And so we had some great conversations. And I was just, when I started exploring it, and read the mission statement and what y'all are doing, I was really impressed that you're doing the stuff you are in Africa. That's really out of the box thinking right there, Doc. And I'm kind of an out of the box guy. So
we got that.
I admire people that do that. You know, it takes a lot of courage sometimes to do that, to not just do the norm. But I think the MFL is a great and a timely league because of the virus. In the next couple of years, we're going to have this glut. It's going to be even worse than it was when you and I were coming out, you know, as far as getting an opportunity. And you know, we need these developmental leagues because, you know, the seniors from last year in college are going to be seniors again this year. And they're getting, you know, run up on from behind by the juniors who should be seniors and the sophomores who should be juniors. Everybody redshirted. And so now you're going to have this for the next few years, this extraordinary amount of talent that needs a place to go. And so that's why I think I was really interested in the MFL and the way y'all, once I found out how well y'all do things, I was very interested in doing it because I do think those young men are going to need a place. They're going to need a place to play, continue being mentored in some respects. And I just think it's a great opportunity. And I'm glad you brought, I know you've been doing this a long time, Dr. Myles, but I'm glad you decided to bring it to Texas and the Southwest because it was really needed down here.
Yes, and we was getting beat up about that too because I wasn't going to come that way, you know, but after doing the feasibility study and stuff, Coach, I was like, wait a minute, we got to go there. And then, you know, a good friend of mine played with the Redskins on 2 Super Bowl team, Ricky Sanders, good friend of mine. Yeah. They said, look, you need to come out there. You need to come out to that. You know, come on now, Doc. You know, down in Texas, that was football there. I said, Ricky, you know, I'm going to get with you. But, you know, meeting people like yourself is very important. When you had an opportunity to go do your due diligence, look at the website and everything, you got the information. What was your thought pattern after seeing this? And I know it's shocking. You said, wait a minute. Have they been around this long? I mean, what was the census on that and the people you talked to thus far about it?
Well, yeah, that was one of the impressive things about it is because you have been doing it this long and you got a good business plan. And so that was, you know, as far as being involved, I wanted to be involved in some developmental stuff for pro football because that's kind of, to me, I was in the XFL. That was kind of our niche there, you know, and I think this one just looks like the next one will come along, and I think it's got a real chance of success down here.
Yeah, and so I know that you've been working so diligently since you came aboard, and I know, you know, I know you've talked to a lot of people, and what was the census with them when you was telling them about this, and your network is like a who's who network in terms of, you know, because we want to give these young men an opportunity to coach. I believe in, and we want these young men to understand the MFL is, you know, beyond the field for them. And we want to also tell former players, bring them from the field to the front office. Give them an opportunity for a GM job. Give them an opportunity for a head coaching job. So what does that mean for your network that you have?
Well, I've got a, you know, like I said at the beginning, I've been doing this a long time, and I've got a teaching device we call Air Raid Certified, and they learn how to run this offense. I teach the whole thing in 17 sessions, and then they have to take 3 tests in order to pass. So the Air Raid Certified deal's got over 600 members right now. So we've got a lot of young men who are just getting into coaching that's meant a lot to. And I think this league gives them another chance in the summertime to possibly coach and work with some people like myself or some of the other coaches and GMs in this league. And so that, I think that's a growth opportunity. I think the players themselves, a lot of them are going to play for a couple of years, and then they're going to realize that, well, probably my days are over. And so I wanted, but I still want to be in the game. Mm-hmm. And so this league gives them a chance to learn hands-on how to do things. And I think in today's game, the learning your craft is almost a lost art, because a lot of people that are getting head jobs at very young ages, which there's nothing wrong with that. I got a head job. I got a coordinator's job when I was 29, but I wasn't very good at it. I didn't know my craft well enough yet.
Right.
And a lot of times right now, I think guys are getting jobs before they've actually mastered their craft. And so if they're willing to come and work or play in the MFL, this gives them a chance to really learn from people and really try out some things, experiment a little bit, and then be ready to move to that next bigger level like you're talking about. And whether it's in the front office or whether it's on the field coaching or whatever, I think this is an opportunity where they can master their craft.
And looking at the geographics of the league, I mean, it's kind of nice, the geographics, because now you playing against the best in other parts of the country. You know what I mean? And
right.
The MFL is the laboratory chain. We're talking about economic development. More importantly, it gives these guys that are coming out of college an opportunity to develop. And that's something a lot of people don't want to talk about. And, we talk about that. You get kids that played on these teams that might went to the national championship, but you and I know they didn't play for 4 years. But they get a shot in the NFL because of where they played at. But then they become exposed because they wasn't developed enough at all. And that's I see the importance of this league here. And I'm not quite sure, see what you convey that as well.
Yeah, I think that's, really one of the best parts about the MFL is that it gives them a chance to further their skills. And like you said, a lot of guys that come from big FBS programs, they maybe don't even get to start, or maybe they started a few games when they're a senior. And so they might have the ability to get to the NFL, but the MFL gives them the opportunity to get there because they get to, again, like I said before, further their craft.
And see, we have a GM Barlow from down in the Georgia Warriors. I mean, this guy, we have some fantastic GMs and as well as coaches. And as you know, Dr. Freeman is doing a great job up there.
Mm-hmm.
And David Glasgow, I mean, all of them. I mean, you look at that y'all gonna really be bumping some heads up there because, Mr. Thurston Hall up there with the Cardinals, and down in Oklahoma, it's just that. And I mean, when you looked at it and seeing how big the league was, did that surprise you?
Well, I think y'all laid it out well geographically, so that you got not only a chance to the travel's not that bad within your division, but in addition to that, we have a chance to develop some rivalries. I think the Houston San Antonio rivalry will be really good. The Dallas, the triangle of Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio has always been historically fans get involved because they have such pride in what they do, and add New Orleans and Oklahoma City is really good too. I think we'll develop some rivalries with them.
Well, don't forget Mr. Thurston Hall up there in East Texas with the Cardinals. He has a lot to say, but Coach, after looking at this with the apparel and all the things that the league had, where people in the community can feel a part of it, something that they can own up to. What does that say about the league too, as far as that?
That was one of the impressive things I liked about it when I started studying your league, Doc, was the community outreach, community service, getting the players out amongst the community. That's how, and I've got, a lot of my jobs have been in small college, and that's how you get fans to show up. I mean, you can go to some small college football games, and there won't be anybody there but family and friends. But every place we've always been, we always had really good crowds, 3,000 to 4,000 people, mainly because we did a lot of outreach like you're doing with this league. And so I think it's the same idea, just taken to a professional level.
Absolutely. And the fact that we family are friendly because we're not trying to be those other guys. It's just it's affordable entertainment where whole family can come, and most family consist of 4 people. A whole family can come in on a season ticket. You know what I mean? That's the great thing about it, because now you got your fans and you ain't got to worry about who goes short, because we don't sell tickets at the gate. We sell season tickets ahead of time. And I think that speaks volume for us. And as you know, football is religion in Texas, and not saying it's not like that all over the league, but Texas is a new market for us. People been beating here for a long time, like Fred Smoot. When we was on the Mississippi, he's like, hey man, that was football raised down the South. I'm like, hey, yeah. So, it's in talking. You've been here a short time, Coach, and we've been pushing. You've been pushing since you got here. What do you think? What's the feeling you think? Because you come to the franchise that we've been doing some stuff there is new. People are excited about it. What do you think is how people you think they're getting the feel for it now? I know we got so much stuff up on all the social media platforms. We get all these calls and stuff, and the first thing they ask the coach, Dr. Myles, is this new? I said, no, it's not new. It's new to you, but it's not new. And then as they read a little more on the website, they say, Dr. Myles says, wow. So what did that say for the league itself?
Well, I'm looking forward to just making this Southwest Division successful this year, and in particular, especially the Houston Rams. But down here, people love football. And the old saying when I got into high school coaching, when I got out of college a long time ago, was that if you're in a good high school community in Texas, you can turn the lights on to mow the grass, and 500 people will show up to watch. So that's kind of always been the mentality down here, and we're all real proud of it. All us native Texans, and so I look forward to doing this for the MFL, and it's a little easier sell, I think, to a lot of the fans. And y'all have done a great job with the apparel and the look of everything. I think that's impressive. I think it'll help, and you're dealing with a fan base down here that recognizes that, and so I think there's just a lot of things going for this thing. We just need to do a lot of work here in the next couple of months and get it kicked off.
Right. And also you look at, you still got that beast in the East now called the Washington Chiefs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That beast in the East now. They come out, you have to run into them sooner or later. And even down there, further down in Florida with the Florida Bears, the Florida 49ers, you got the Tennessee Patriots down there. You also got the Georgia Warriors, you got the North Carolina Oilers, the South Carolina Outlaws. So I think down in the South, that will be pretty tough, period. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Because what they say.
I dropped my phone there.
Right. They say Florida say they got good players, better players down there, Coach.
Oh, there's great players all over the place in the North and South, but it's always a constant argument over Southeast Conference, Big 12. Who's got the best athletes and all that. There's a lot of good players. There's a lot of good players that just looking for an opportunity to be seen and get to that next level, and we'll find our share of them and hopefully help them achieve their dreams.
Absolutely, because as with you, a lot of guys I play with, guys I know scouts in the NFL and over the Canadian Football League. So it's going to be a lot of eyes on this. And last year we choose the first time in 20 years we choose not to play because of the COVID-19. When it just people more excited. about the league coming, and now that they've been asking now, as you know, we're ready to go with the combines, the national combines and stuff. And I'm just curious to see. Also down there, the ladies get involved here too, because we have dance teams as well. You had the opportunity to briefly meet Lisa, our dance team director. She'll be coming in, but we getting a lot of young ladies because you heard about the Washington team got ready their dance team, and now they talking about doing a co-ed something. But I think we don't want to leave the ladies out as well.
No, we don't want to do that. Plus, again, in this state, dance teams in the high schools they're a way of life. Everybody that comes to Texas to begin with, if they go to a high school football game and the half times are 30 minutes long. And the reason they're 30 minutes long is because both teams are going to have a huge band and a huge drill team, and they got to get their plan.
And
you can pretty much break down the film from the first half to the halftime of a high school football game.
And that's another.
But there's a rich tradition, and a lot of those young ladies are still going to want to do it, as they get older, just like the guys are,
And Coach, I look at it. We want to get the high school bands involved. We want definitely, and I know you'll be able to handle that stuff. We want to invite them to perform, and at halftime and stuff. It gives it a sense of ownership with that franchise that's there. And these are some of the things that get the players out, as you mentioned a little bit. We have programs we do working with FSU, No Thugs, No Drugs, Early Youth Offender Program, Conflict Resolution. These are the types of programs that we implement, and we have our players doing 100 hours of community service, because we don't want people in the community, we just there to play football on Saturday nights. No, we in the community, we're there to make a difference. We want to get the players out, meet and greet, and I know y'all are handling that now dancing. We have a good track record. Our dance team, ladies, they always go to the next level, be it the Ravens, the Redskins, or the Wizards. So we always had good dance teams, and the young ladies went on from there. So I'm just excited about you being a board, and I'll tell you, boy, that Mr. Glasgow, he knows some people, man. And he's all he's just ready to go, and then Lou Johnson up there with the Raiders up in New Jersey, and of course we have the Saints up there in Philly, and then we have the Chargers and the coach, Maryland coach here in Washington, along with the Chief. So everybody's excited about the combines and stuff. And I was just going to ask you, I have to ask you this: what is the governor thinking about opening up everything so fast like that? No mask, really? No mask at all? I think
I've had it twice, and it didn't take me very long to get over it. So I'm probably not the right person to ask that question to.
Oh, okay.
I'm ready. I'm tired of wearing masks myself, and I was glad our governor did that. I know there's some people that disagree with that and everything. They certainly have the right to. And we're not gonna. If somebody wants me to wear a mask, I'm gonna put it on. But I'm just glad that we are starting. To me, it's kind of the beginning of the end of this thing, and we can get back to playing football and having crowds and doing this kind of stuff we were accustomed to doing this time last year when this thing all hit.
Absolutely, and like I say, and I tell people, we have to face the norm is gone, and this is the norm for right now, Coach. So, I try to stress that to people, and it's not a bad thing, in terms of, things come and go, just like the flu, we want people to take caution, though, and be very aware and very cautious of, being very mindful with a face mask. Because I'm aware one all the time right now. I'm at that age now. I just got to be careful, and, but more importantly, we want the fans to feel comfortable. As you know, we got stuff in place for the COVID-19. And
Yeah.
the players can also go to our website. The MFL is here, and they can register. They go to league registration. They can register for the combine and stuff. So these are some of the things that we do have stuff in place for this. So we're not just going out there and not being responsible and educating people for what we are doing. Because your safety as well as the players and as well as the staff and everybody else, that's very important to us and players. So we want them to understand that we're taking all the precautions we can to make sure things go as smooth as possible.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the old story about the weak. The chain's only as strong as the weakest link, and to me, it's kind of the same way. The comfort level of the most cautious person is where you got to cater to, and for now, and hopefully we'll get past this soon. But I'm just kind of glad it's starting to open up, and we're having combines and having games and all that.
Mm-hmm. And Texas is a new venue for the MFL, and like I say, we know football is king down there, and I know y'all got one venue that y'all going to be playing at, and I just want to say kudos to the politicians there in San Antonio and Houston. Everybody was very helpful to the MFL and to help make this thing go. So I just want to thank them and the coaches and GMs and working real hard. But more importantly, it's always feel good to know that the politicians see value in what we're doing. You know what I mean? In terms of the MFL being there during the summer, because you're talking about jobs, but there weren't no jobs, and economic development is important to the league to give these youngsters something to do. That stadium up there, they say what they hold about up in San Antonio, the Alamo Dome. I think y'all played there when you said you had one of your and up there. And I'm just curious and I know you have to start doing a little talking and see what your venue going to be at up there in Houston. So the great thing about it, you live there, you know everybody there, and that's what the key was to us electing GMs and stuff. We want somebody from the community. We don't want somebody to come in. And one thing I learned a long time ago, especially in the South, if you don't know John, uncle, or cousin, brother, you ain't get nothing done in the South. You know what I mean? And why is it that way?
There's a lot of truth to that.
Why is it that way, Coach?
I think it's a family thing more than anything else. I know on the time I spent in Mississippi recruiting, it was really kind of heartwarming because the greatest I worked for one of the best recruiters ever in the state of Mississippi. His name's Tony Hughes. He works for he was the head coach at Jackson State when I was there, but he's a tight end coach for Mike Leach at Mississippi State now. And Tony knows every school in the state of Mississippi that plays football. But he not only knows the coaches, he knows who works in the cafeteria. He knows those players come out. He knows who their auntie is and who their mom and dad are and who their cousins are. And that's why he's always been such a great, effective recruiter at Mississippi State. He recruited Dak Prescott and people like that. And I really enjoyed that because it was kind of the background I was from too, in Texas. But it's kind of a great example of how football is done down here, and everybody's just really proud of that not only the people that play the game and coach the game know about it, but everybody knows about it.
Okay. Well, that's great, because I have to admit, when doing feasibility studying, we was down in Florida, and we was down in Tallahassee, and they was really nice to us, but they were still looking kind of sideways because we from up north, down there. They first who you know. But wow, I forgot his name. Played for Florida State, made All-American. He played in the league with the Miami Dolphins, played linebacker, and he introduced me to a lot of people when we were just trying to get a feel where in Florida that we wasn't going to put it, and then. He even said, our toughest game up in when we go to Texas. So he said, you definitely might want to put some franchises there. But I had to get used to that, and I'm telling you, my roots is from down south because my father was from Lakeland, Florida, coach. Now I don't know you maybe heard of that. I've never been there in my life, but that's where my dad's from, Lakeland, Florida. I never been.
That's just a little bit south of Valdosta, Georgia, and we used to recruit there all the time.
Yeah, and I got a chance to eat some real Southern food, which was good.
When you come to Texas, we'll take care of you, Doc.
Yeah,
you got to do some Mexican food and some barbecue.
Yeah, the only thing I had to because my daughter was stationed there in Texas, in the military at Fort Hood. And my grandsons, they was young, they were playing ball there, and they said the boys' club games be packed. Granddad, he said it'd be packed down here. I mean, they take this serious. We went over to the high school, and they were just talking about the camaraderie that the family had. I mean, because if you playing on Sally, Uncle John, the whole family coming to see you. You know what I mean? So that's the thing.
Well, that's where I was the head coach in AD, is right there next to Fort Hood at Coppers Cove, Texas, and that's I know those schools well, and I appreciate all the people, including your daughter that served there. I coached a lot of their kids through the years when I was there, and when I was at Coppers Cove, it probably still is the largest military base in the world. And they do tremendous amount of training there, and it's just a great group of people. And I was privileged to be able to coach a lot of their youngsters.
Wow, because I also have a son in the Marines. He's a gunnery sergeant, 2 Purple Hearts. Right. So my youngest son, he's been in there for 17 years. He's going to do 20, and I'm proud of him. But we also, what I like about down there, and we get right now, we got a lot of military guys called about playing. Yeah. And they say, well, yes, sir. So we used to get them up here too, up here in Washington, used to come from Virginia and play. You're going to get a lot of players from the Army bases and stuff, and their question is, some of them in the Army, and they want to know, depending on their scheduling and, how would that work? I said, well, you talk to the GM, coach, and we will make special session for them, because we do appreciate their service and stuff. We got a lot of young guys that's in the military, and they call me, and I talk to a lot of them, when I answer phone, and even the rest of the staff, they say, well, we coming out, the team down there. And y'all have a lot of bases down there, especially down in San Antonio, I think in Houston, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of military bases in the whole state, and that's a good source of players, because obviously I'm preaching to the choir here, because you got two of your children in it serving, but I've coached some guys that would come play for me in small college that had out of high school, they probably weren't quite as big or as mature as they needed to be. So they end up joining the Army or the Marines or something like that, and then they go serve for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and they're in their late 20s when they get out, and they decide they want to come back and play, because now they've really matured, and physically they've matured, and of course the confidence level of any of our services that it gives those young people that go in, when they come out, they pretty much think they can do almost anything they put their minds to. And so having those kinds of people is really important, and I think the NFL is a great place for them to come out and want another shot at play.
Absolutely. And I got to say this, because I always say we want to thank the wives and the fiance and the mother that allow us to do what we're doing. what is the census with your significant other about this now? You're getting back in there. She thought you was gonna relax for a while now, Coach. Now you're the GM of the professional franchise. Come there. How she feel about this?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm on wife number 2 right now, and Jacqueline is about 27 years younger than me, so she keeps me young, and she's really excited about being involved in this whole thing. We've been married about 3 years now, and she's always been involved. She really enjoys the game, and she enjoys being around the team, and we'll find a lot of stuff for her to do in terms of getting the community involved in Houston.
Absolutely, because you got to put them on the payroll too, Mr. Tim, because they're gonna really be there, really doing a lot of stuff for you as well. So I always say I want to thank them for allowing us to do these things. They don't allow us to do that, we have a little problem. You know what I mean?
Yes, of course.
It's nice, and all the wives have been very supportive. The ones I've talked to, the GMs and the coaches, they're very excited. But I also want to, say I appreciate that network you have, because you've been, you've been tremendous for the league, even the short time you've been here thus far. And that's something that the league needs, because we want them to understand you have an opportunity to come here and coach. What I mean? If they qualify, but we're going to give them that opportunity. That's why the MFL is the laboratory of change. This is the laboratory of change.
Well, it's a great opportunity for myself, because, people, I've had a lot of my friends that I started the business with, and this is probably true for you too, is that they've retired, they're not doing anything anymore. And I just can't do that. And I'm one of those people who probably work till I die.
Yeah.
And they say, well, why don't you just do something, go do your business. I got a couple small businesses, and why don't you just do that? I said, because there's no game day.
Yeah. It ain't
so when you need to get out of coaching when you don't like game day. Well,
there you go.
I'm one of those fortunate people that game day is my favorite day still, and so the MFL gives me a chance to do that, at least 10 times. And so I'm really excited about doing that.
Yeah, it's the camaraderie of it. And I tell people all the time, it's not when it's something that you like doing. I own a lot of business and different things, Doc, but it's not the same. You know what I mean, Coach? It's not the same. In most football players, I call us old players, and we like old soldiers. We're gonna fade away. We ain't gonna just and helping these younger people, because we're standing on people's shoulders. You know that. And now it's gonna be a time where they're going to stand on their shoulders, but they have to get the opportunity. The MFL take the glass ceiling away. The glass ceiling is now gone. And you of all people know, there's a lot of guys that coach college ball that's home, not because they want to be, because the opportunity wasn't there. And I want them to look at the MFL and see we have that opportunity for you. We have the opportunity now, because these young men need this more than ever. Is that bridge from the kids that come out of college? If it's nothing else for them, then what? The bridge. We have that bridge. You know what I mean, Coach? Now that bridge is there. Now you ain't got to worry about down on yourself. I didn't make an NFL team. Your friend, you wasn't good enough. That's not fair. It's not fair to say to these guys, it's not enough room. Now we want you to know you still have plenty relevancy with you now. You have so much more you can give back to the community and to yourself, and just show yourself. We provide that opportunity that you don't find outside of college or professional football. We here. We are that link right now. And remember, this league, although it's been around a long time, we just getting started. You know what I mean? We just getting started.
Right.
It took the other league 100 years to get where they at. So let's don't, just give this thing time. This is not a fly-by-night. We've been around a long time, so that shows longevity, No,
you got to admire longevity. And, the Rolling Stones and Jimmy Buffett been around a long time, too. I still like listening to them.
Absolutely.
I've been to a lot of Buffett concerts, and one of the great things I always admired about him was somewhere towards the end of the concert, and I think you and I are kind of in this same category, is he'll come out and thank the audience for his 40-year summer job. You know? So it's kind of like, it's not really work to us. Mm-hmm. It's a labor of love. And so that's Buffett's way of putting it. He thanks everybody for his summer job, his 40-year summer job.
Yeah.
But I always thought that was clever.
Absolutely. And it's great. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you that challenge every day. Yeah. Knowing that, you got an opponent that's coming you know nothing about, and it's your job to put your skills against their skills and match them and show, wait a minute, we still got it. You know what I mean? In terms of coaches standpoint.
Well, and the great thing about the MFL is it's given those young people, a lot of times it's just a little bit of confidence that is the difference between making that NFL team and getting cut, as you well know, because you played a long time. Absolutely. This league gives those young men out of college now, all of a sudden they have to act like a professional. They have to perform like a professional. They got to prepare themselves like a professional. And this gives them just that little bit of extra confidence when they do get their shot. And there'll be a lot of them that will. And so I'm excited about being part of it and helping develop those guys.
And and some of them, as you know, Coach, they're gonna get a big shot. Some of these guys are gonna be from Division I school. That was good starting. You know what I mean? So you it's time to show up and show out, because you're gonna come up in guys that came out that was all Americans, and not that make them more different than you, but it gives you opportunity to play against somebody that's really, really good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it helps there too in a way, because now you have to prepare your team, and these young men have to understand getting prepared for they go in the battle. And as you stated, you have to conduct yourself like a pro. We're gonna treat you like you're pros. And we expect you to hold yourself up to a high standard, because as they told me, when you get to that over league, don't ever think you're getting in that shield right there. You know what I mean? That shield is,
exactly.
Live up to it. And the shield, we want you to protect the shield. So we don't want people to go out there and do things that they know they shouldn't be doing. And those are the type of things that me, as as the owner of this league, and I set such a high bar, Coach, and I want people to live up to it, because weekend warrior days is over. We have some little teams lingering around out there, but I tell people it's over with.
And this gives them a chance to learn a lot of personal responsibility too. And you got guys that the FBS, the major college football, and I coached at several places and was the head coach at Kentucky and New Mexico State and places like that. But in some ways, those young guys aren't maturing as fast as they could, because it's such a bubble. They have everything done for them. And we got to study. Well, show up for study hall, and the tutor will sit down with you and help you do your lessons. And, all right, let's go lift weights. Well, you got 3 strength coaches over there all evaluating your lifts, and everywhere they go, it's so structured and it's such a bubble that when they get out in the professional world, they almost have to relearn the skill of personal responsibility, and this gives them a chance to do that. Before they get their big shot.
Right, and I just say thanks for all of my y'all GMs that we had, because you guys, of course you have families you got to take care, but you really care about these young men. And that has been something been missing for a long time. It's never been a developmental football league, And the ones that come out, that got a little money, they want to be like them other guys. That's why they're not around. We who we are. They who they are, we who we are. We're not trying to be nothing, no more than who we are. And that's something I stuck with the whole time, Coach, and I never, deviated from it because I'm serious about this. This is something that needed, been needed for a long time. I think you would agree with me on that.
Yeah, guys can have the greatest athletic ability in the world, but if they don't understand the off the field aspects, then they really don't have a chance to make it at the next level. And so this gives them a chance that after they're in college, they're going to come out, they're going to come play in the MFL, and they don't have people. They have to do the personal responsibility. They got to train. They got to do the right things off the field, or they're not going to get that next shot, no matter how good they really are. And so it's like anything. Reps count, and this is more reps for them.
Absolutely. And now they understand that they got this shot, Coach. And I think right now they know to take fully advantage of it because everybody's going to be watching. Most of the guys went to big schools. Their family couldn't afford to go there and see them play. If they wasn't playing on TV, they couldn't see them play. Now they actually can see them play. You know what I mean? So it gets everybody to talk about Jesse. I said my nephew Jesse right there. I go to the Tigers game when I used to scout. When and you hear the people up there, you couldn't. I see why it's a good thing to stay in the press box because when you come out, everybody want to take. That's my son right there. This, Dr. You make him run back up in the box. You know what I mean? But and I know they just doing it. And then I was joking with one guy, Coach, and I should have done it. He got a beat for a touchdown. I said, didn't you say number 20 is your son, right? He didn't want to talk. His son got the beat for a touchdown. He's too busy, doing all this unnecessary stuff. And we want them to understand. We want them to enjoy what they're doing, but take it serious, because you guys out there trying to teach these guys, and develop them, and it's not just, it's fun and you're going to have fun, enjoy yourself, but, this is something that's going to allow the people going to be watching them, Coach. It's going to be a lot of people watching.
Yeah, there are, and that's kind of the fun of it. And I think, for the players, it's really good for them because it gives them a chance to perform, and they know people are looking at them, not just the scouts, but also fans and the young kids that they do community outreach with, and if you can get a sense of community in almost anything you do in life, you're going to probably be successful at it.
Absolutely. I used to always say, people used to get mad at me. I used to always say, Coach, stop putting the athlete on the pedestal because when athletes are human, they make mistakes too. So when you put them up there and something happens, then you rather destroy them. And you don't forget, these are young kids. You know what I mean? They don't have a clue to really what the outside world is. When they talking about signing the big contracts in other league, it doesn't come in the instructions. Coach, it really don't. You know what I mean? But that's something we're going to teach these young men.
Well, you and I talked about this the other day. Is the money has become so big at all these places that there's a lot of young people out there that don't realize they're just in it for the money, and they're not going to last. The people that get in it for the right reasons and stay in it, that get in it for the right reasons are the ones that can stay in it.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I want to thank you for joining us today. Gentlemen, I want the NFL Nation, the NFL Combine is coming up, March the 27th. We want everybody to look at this because we're getting ready to start the season. Always go to our website, MFL is here. Our social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. The Combine is coming. We'll be in Texas the 27th of March. It will be here in the Mid-Atlantic the 27th of March. So we're really excited about it. So don't forget to go support the league. We have our apparel up, MFL apparel, in the franchise in your area. I want to thank you again, Coach. You've been watching another edition of Inside the MFL. I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Doctor.